Hello, good morning from Bangladesh. Here I'm presenting our research work on economics of smallholder autonomous machines for grain oilseed farms. Smallholder farms having less than 2 hectares of land produces around one-third of the world's food just on one-fourth of world's agricultural land. Smallholder farms altogether is a large group, worldwide 500 million smallholder farms producing food for the world. These smallholder farms are mostly concentrated in Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, and Latin America. Bangladesh, my home country, is well known as smallholder farms, with an average farm size of 0.50 hectare. Bangladesh has a very long mechanization history, initiated since 1950s, before the birth of the country. Agricultural mechanization initiated with irrigation coupled with mechanized tillage operation. That is, tillage operations were mechanized with smaller two-wheel machines, that is power tiller, and larger four-wheel machines, that is tractors. Over time, the country is trying to adopt both smaller two-wheel machines and larger four-wheel machines. For example, harvesting is mechanized with smaller two-wheel machines, that is reaper, and larger four-wheel machines, that is combine harvester. Similarly, planting is trying to be mechanized with walking type planter, that is two-wheel machines, and riding type larger four-wheel machines type planter. The country is looking to answer whether the country promote partial mechanization, that is keeping few operations mechanized with a few operations manual labor intensive, or whole farm conventional mechanization with human drivers, or precision agriculture technology inclusions for smallholders. The right image shows that the government vision for mechanization. Bangladesh targeted 10% precision agriculture technology adoption by 2030 and 50% precision agriculture technology adoption by 2041, simultaneously trying to adopt whole farm conventional mechanization to mechanize the remaining unmechanized operations. So there is still evidence gap how cost-effective mechanization could be introduced for Bangladesh. Experts suggest low-cost tailored labor-saving precision agriculture technologies for smallholders, considering the context of the country. Over time, percentage employment in agriculture is declining due to the inclusions of garments, construction, and other non-farm inclusions. And the educated youth are not interested in agriculture as a career. In case of percentage employment in agriculture compared to the regional peers, Bangladesh is positioned just after Japan. In this ground, this study hypothesized that low-tech retrofitted autonomy would be profitable for grain oilseed farms in Bangladesh in the face of increasing higher labor scarcity and cost. This study employed an economic engineering approach and modeled a small 1 hectare farm, medium 3 hectare farm, and larger 4 hectare farms, considering the economic engineering approach used worldwide like UK, USA, and Europe. The existing mechanization scenarios and the evolving mechanization with the targeted visions of precision agricultural technology for farm management are considered in case of identifying the economics of appropriate mechanization for Bangladesh. The first scenario we modeled considered tillage only mechanization, where tillage is only mechanized, keeping all other operations manual labor intensive, which is the predominant typical conventional mechanization in Bangladesh. The second scenario we modeled, which is tillage and harvesting mechanization, where tillage and harvesting is mechanized, keeping all other operations manual. This is the currently evolving mechanization in Bangladesh. And the third scenario modeled mechanized tillage, mechanized planting, and mechanized harvesting operation, keeping all other operations manual. This is also evolving mechanization, but it is still in on-farm demonstration, not scaled up yet in Bangladesh. We also modeled two more mechanization scenarios. The fourth scenarios we modeled whole farm conventional mechanization with human drivers, And the fifth scenario modeled robots mechanization, where all operations were mechanized, considering retrofitted mechanization for autonomy. The same scenarios were modeled similarly for larger four-wheel machines mechanization. The baseline results show that when you consider farmer-owned machinery mechanization, considering the production year 2022 and 23, we found that conventional whole farm mechanization were most profitable for Bangladesh, followed by robots mechanization. The baseline model didn't consider subsidy because subsidy always comes with criticism. Previous year, subsidy were introduced for agricultural machinery purchase, but recently there is no subsidy for machinery purchasing. We also compared what would be the economics if we compare smaller two-wheel machines and larger four-wheel machines. Considering farmer-owned mechanization, we found that smaller two-wheel machines were more profitable than larger four-wheel machines. Larger four-wheel machines found unprofitable for farms. The same scenarios were prevalent for medium-sized farms as well. For a small-sized farm, smallholders struggled with increasing machinery ownership. So in that case, machinery service providers model could be the low-hanging options for larger machines and a small 1 hectare farm. There is still hope, and Bangladesh adopted larger four-wheel machines in the modes of machinery service providers models. Interestingly, we also evaluate what would be the economics if we consider acute labor shortage, because the base model we considered, we assume substantial labor availability, that is 350 person days per farm per month are considered in modeling, but it's totally absurd to hire 350 labor per month for a farm. Considering the present scenarios, it's really difficult to hire such substantial labor, and the wage rate is increases dramatically over the recent years. Interestingly, when Bangladesh faced acute labor shortage, that is 50 percentage per farm per month, robots mechanization were more profitable than whole farm conventional mechanization with human drivers. And with acute labor shortage, farmer-owned larger four-wheel machines mechanization found totally unprofitable. The most discussed topics in Bangladesh is whether mechanization initiative should come with subsidy, and again whether it should come with machinery subsidy or machinery subsidy loan. That is another issue and most discussed issue nationally to promote mechanization for Bangladesh. We found that with subsidy, profit margin changes and larger four-wheel machines get benefit when 50% subsidy were considered. In case of machinery purchase loan, the profit margin is similar. There is similar pattern, and for larger machines, the impact was negative when you consider different rates of machinery loan. But from government point of view, that could be feasible options. But direct machinery purchase loan seems more profitable or viable for smallholder farms. Even though the study provides guideline on the economics of smallholder crop robots, comparing the existing machinery scenarios with the proposed mechanization scenarios, there is still limitation in this study. This study didn't model farm to farmstead to field operations as mechanized. It was considered manual labor intensive because just have a look at the left side images. The small field path with less than 30 centimeter, it's quite difficult to mechanize these operations with such road condition. Here, have a look. Substantial labor is needed for post-harvest handling of grains and byproduct and field to farmstead transportation. So there is still room to optimize the mechanization benefit if we consider farm to field stead transportation. Maybe the low-hanging option is to carry the grain on this muddy path with leg robots or motorbikes or other options, but on the public roads or street, where there is scope to mechanized, and there could be a mechanized transportation could be considered. So there is still room. When it comes to mechanization, we need to think of that field to farm-state transportation, how to mechanize these operations, to optimize the benefits of whole farm mechanization. The study focused on the farmer-owned mechanization as a starting point of the initial discussion. But there are other machinery service provider models in Bangladesh. Farmer-led custom help services is well known. After completing their own land, they provide services to their neighbors. And there may be other machinery service business models. So comparative understanding of the machinery business models would clear the picture about the cost-effective mechanization for Bangladesh. This study identified the major cereals as well as the rotational grain oil seeds. But the issue is that rice is the staple food here, Bangladesh. Only for profit, people or farmers will less likely forgo their own all land for profitable enterprises. So future model could consider keeping a fixed proportion of land for rice cultivation and let the farm decide or optimization decide about other enterprises. So complete substitution may not happen because farmers need to produce rice for their family subsistence or for their considering the national demand because 2 to 3 times meals is concentrated with rice. The most discussed topics in Bangladesh when it comes to mechanization about what is about land consolidation. Bangladesh needs some evidence-based guideline to what extent land should be consolidated and what would be the economies of size and scale of such a land consolidation, because there is dark side always prevail when land consolidation is promoted. All over the world, we have evidence on the negative agroecological consequences of land consolidation. Let's have some take-home messages to keep in mind before leaving. The answer of appropriate mechanization for smallholders is not binary. Based on the evidence, we found that the short-term solutions for smallholders like Bangladesh should be the whole farm conventional mechanization with human drivers. In the medium to long term, the country could think of whole farm mechanization and robots mechanization, definitely with mechanized field to farm state transportation. Instead of thinking one by one operation specific mechanization, smallholders need to think of step change approach, considering the current prices and wage rate, whole farm mechanization is needed. So instead of going one by one operation, smallholders need to think of whole farm mechanization or low cost precision agricultural technology adoption to tackle the on farm productivity constraint. Operation specific subsidy actually needs revision. Subsidy should be devised in a way that could reinvigorate the rural communities and could be an employment generating sectors for the educated youth who are the mostly unemployed persons share in Bangladesh and other smallholder settings as well. When we are talking about mechanization, it's not all about capital level substitution. Instead, we are talking about a system change approach. So this needs to be think ahead when we are devising subsidy for smallholders instead of just keeping bargaining on whether subsidy or subsidy loan would come here. So it's a game-changing approach we are talking about for smallholders as the producers approximately 80% of the world's food. Finally, I'd like to thank our funders, International Growth Center, which is directed by London School of Economics and University of Oxford, for funding our study. Please feel free to visit our lab, which is known as Hub for Smallholders Agritech Economics, shortly HSET. We focus on the economics of sustainable agricultural intensification solutions concentrated on agritech, agroecological farming, and regenerative agriculture farming with innovative labor-saving technologies. Thank you for your patience hearing. I'm looking for your query. Thank you.